We're in Gulf Shores, Alabama right now. My name is Trisha Springstead. I'm a registered nurse. I've been working with many people of the spill.
I don't feel like my government is there for my safety whatsoever.
Right.
I don't trust what they say.
No.
I've witnessed too much throughout this whole thing to stand in the place of ignorance. I myself was telling someone who was going out diving and who was eating oysters out of the water raw, and he was just telling me before that he was diabetic. And I looked at him and I said, well, baby, I'm going to have to tell you something here. And, explained it to him. He was like, man, you're bumming me out. I was going diving this afternoon. You're so bumming me out. And I went, well, you know what? All I can tell you is I have this information within me, and now I'm going to share it with you because you haven't gotten the proper information. Our government's seeing to it that you and everybody else doesn't.
Right.
And I said, and you just have to do with that information now what it is you feel like you need to do for your body.
Right.
But I have at least informed you. That's one thing our government wouldn't do for you.
Right. And there are a few out there that are really fighting for us. And I think that we have got to get a cohesive, united front. If we don't unite under a few groups and tell the rest of them to all go away.
Yeah.
If you're not doing the right thing and you don't care about bioremediating the water, healing the people, and shutting down these beaches until we can get the loads of hexane and the loads of polyaromatic hydrocarbons and volatile organic compounds that are raising up into the air, we get one hurricane, what's going to happen?
Oh, it's, we really don't know what is going to happen because it's going to dump all that stuff. There's still tar mats buried out here just all along the beaches. And so it's still out there. The tourists that are coming in are confirming it. One guy was telling me, he's like, man, I was walking along doing what you're supposed to do when you're on beach vacation. I was looking for some seashells. He said, kept thinking, their shapes were weird and color was weird. And he said, but, as I got to looking and finally reached down and grabbed one and crushed it, he said, there's no seashells. It's tar balls.
Tar balls.
It's tar balls after tar balls after tar balls.
I was out on the beach with Crosby the other night. We were out on the beach, and I'm like, these are tar balls. They just opened snapper season. And I'm looking at all these kids in the water, and I'm just like, oh, my God,
It's emotionally, it's very hard because, driving over here, I saw a family, a husband, a wife, the kids, on a family vacation. It's what they're supposed to do. They work all year long to make enough money to come down here and have this vacation. And they had their little floaties in their hands and their, everything, little beach digging shovels and pails, and that's what they're supposed to be doing. But as I saw them walking across to the beach, carrying all these things, I knew that meant they were going to A, be digging in the sand, and B, in the water because of the floats. And I just thought to myself, oh, God.
And they're going to have lesions.
They don't know.
They're going to be breathing that air, and it's getting hotter, and they're going to end up with lesions, and they're going to end up with chemical pneumonitis. And if they're any way immunocompromised, I've been trying to explain to people, even the guys that worked on the spill and were the workers, they were treated so horribly when working on that spill, number one, and they were treated. They were not given the right equipment. I've got OSHA paperwork that talks about the equipment that they should have had. So our government, I blame this on our government.
I do too.
We allowed it.
Someone should have stood up and went, wait a minute, they didn't set up that OPA and that CWA right. Because that verbiage right there leaves us all up to BP and everybody else under their command.
Right.
You know, when BP's telling Coast Guard to stand down,
Right.
and you can't even depend on Coast Guard for guarding.
And you know, I would really like to know how many of those Coast Guard guys are sick.
Oh, absolutely, because they're going, you know, through the government.
The government.
So that.
And the government's probably going to tell them, you're not even sick because of that.
No.
You just have the flu.
Yeah.
Or you have, and then pretty soon, you know, they're going to have chest lesions and masses everywhere.
So what I'm
Right.
saying is, physically, for me, in the middle of the day, it's too hard to
much.
breathe.
Yeah.
And right now, with the antibiotic in me and
Yeah.
and all, I'm just.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm not 100%.
It's okay.
I'm not 100%. It's hard to even say that and be that, but it's the truth. I kept fighting it, and I kept thinking I was wrong, and then everybody else was right, and it was okay. And I tried to just get out there and act like it was okay. I'm fighting. And I'm scared. I feel like my esophagus is degrading as I speak. And I don't, you know, I've got a grandson that is due any day. I want to live. My kids have already buried their father to cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I've spent my whole life trying to stay healthy for them and be, you know, God left me in charge. And now my body feels just so bad that it concerns me. I don't actually feel like I've got years to live, like I'll live to be old anymore. And it's scary.
Who's your doctor? Who is working with you?
No. Not
Well,
there
you know,
for the
we've
right
got
reason.
a lot of medical entrepreneurs.
I know. And I really don't know what to do.
Do you have any insurance?
Yeah, I got insurance.
What do you say?
I hear there's a doctor in town that's doing chelation, but I've totally changed my ways, and my body's cleaner than it's ever been, treating it better than I've ever been. I, you know, eat live foods now, and I don't, you know, eat junk food at all, hardly anything
Right.
processed, and I'm just getting worse. I'm just getting worse.
Once we get your daughter's situation straightened out, I'm going to bring you to my town. And I have plenty of room there. And I'm going to bring you to my town. And you'll be away from the elements, okay? And then I have pulmonologists, nephrologists. I have some really good friends.
But
And we'll get you the help that you need. Because I really do think that you need to have, and you know, we can get the testing done, we can get you worked up completely. Once we get a complete workup and we can have a complete picture, then I've got a team of about 4 docs that from neurology that are willing to help. I do have the doctors. And you can stay with me. I have a house. You know, you can come stay with me.
Well, Mike's sister's been urging me to come to, she is a radiologist, or reads radiologist.
Yeah.
At the Mayo Clinic.
Mhm.
And she's like, man, you've been to doctors and doctors around there, and
Right.
nothing's, you know.
I feel like I have to get you out of here for a while, because if you're here, you're going to keep, every time you go out, you're going to keep making yourself sicker. So if I can get you out of here, and then now we're working on the bioremediation aspect in DC, doing that right now.
I never got the chemical poisoning right after the spill.
No.
I didn't, you know, it took a while before it hit my body and saturated enough that I actually, you know, have now begun to really feel it. I didn't get that chemical pneumonia that a lot of people got.
Mhm.
But then again, I did not go to the beach.
Right.
You know, I protected myself. But still really bad, and possibly even worse in the back.
Mhm.
I brought with me, look at this. It was particularly nasty that day.
Mhm.
And I went, you know what, proper sampling techniques or no, I'm grabbing it. And you can, there's like Now it's been disheveled, but you can see that there's like growth throughout the column of the water.
Right. My God.
And, you know, this is the waters that I'm operating in.
Yeah.
These are, you know, and this is in the back bays. They're nasty as can be.
I was up in Apalachicola, and we took a shovel, and we dug. We dug down 8 inches. We could have dug down 3 feet.
And
We could have taken a crane and still not gotten to the bottom of it. And I'm standing in it, going, look at this.
oh yeah, it's all.
We should correct it.
Mm-hmm. It's heavy with corrected back here. A lot. I have to go to the zoo and see the animals there so that I remember that there's live animals.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. And this is what the dolphins are being forced to live in. They're federally protected. Where is the federal plan for their protection? Why do you have in place a protection act if you're not going to enforce it? This is where it's pushing in. As the tide comes in, it pushes in. And this here is a map that shows you the 4 bays in which the dolphins reside.
And you know, the thing that kept coming to my mind when because I've really been following you, and when you, and I could hear the pain in your voice, in your emails, you know, at seeing these dolphins. And then I start thinking about, look at the mothers that are spontaneously losing their children.
Oh, yeah.
And look at the dolphins that are spontaneously miscarrying their unborn.
You know, people ask me what happened, is it cold? I said no. Look at the corrected. They don't deny they've used it now. Look at its MSDS sheet. It isn't an endocrine disruptor. These ladies, and I mean the dolphins, okay, because they're just mammals that live in the water. We are mammals that walk the land. What we see in them, we will see in us.
Absolutely.
And if that's a silly statement,
it's not.
Shoot my ass and just put me out of my misery.
Because, Laurie, there's no degree of separation.
No, there is not.
You look at nature, you see yourself.
And these mama dolphins, their endocrine system was not able to support the final stages of the pregnancy. They couldn't make the proper hormones to hold that pregnancy in.
And then the corrected caused bleeding.
The corrected caused inner bleeding, not to mention, yes, they didn't eat good, because what do they have to eat? You know? But it wasn't just a starvation issue.
No.
And, you know, when you look at this map, brown is land, okay? This is where the water comes in from the Gulf and makes its way back here to these areas of pink, where the dolphins are, where I operate. I live right here. You should color all this in pink and then look at the brown, which is where the citizens live. We're surrounded. We're absolutely surrounded by, it's not just out here in the Gulf, but it is all the way around our island. And the back bays, because they're narrow and shallow.
You know your terrain.
They are, in my opinion, more contaminated than the Gulf.
From the comfort of a dreamer's bed and the safety of my own head, when I'm speaking of the future where other people fight and fled, the kid I was when I first left home was looking for his freedom and a life of his own, but the freedom that he found wasn't what I see, but the truth was known. I have prayed for America. I was made for America. It's in my blood and in my bones. By the dawn's early light, by all I know is right, we're gonna reap what we have sown.